Welcome back, guys. Mark here, and I figured we'd do a series, a new series running through basically a program I've built in the past before, a dice roller. I have a couple versions, but what I want to do is I want to take my old version of the dice roller and go from version 2 to version 3. And the reason I want to do that is I want to optimize the code. And I kind of want to start using the event handlers I talked about, so I want to port this code over and optimize it quite a bit. And I figured what a great learning experience for you guys and for me, and I just kind of like to show it off and kind of run through it. So I figured for lesson 1 I wanted to go through and basically set up our window. I want to try to keep these videos kind of short or shorter, 15 minutes or less. That way, if you guys want to learn something, you can learn something quick. And I always try to teach a little bit with each series. So the first thing is I'm going to add some notes to this project. A lot of projects that I do for myself, I basically put a project header, and in this one it's going to be Dice Roller version 3.0. We're giving it an upgrade. And then I'll add another comment. Usually I do like author, so who's writing the code, Mark. A lot of times, if I'm writing something for my brother, I'll throw my whole name in there. And then a lot of times I like to throw in the date for when I started the project. So today's what? 9/2/2020, so September 2nd. And basically, like with any Windows project that we do, we're going to have no main win. And we're going to go ahead and have our window width. And we're going to do a 640, and we're going to do by 480. That seems to work very well for the dice roller. 480, and then let's center it in the screen. So we'll have our upper left X. If you've been following along with a lot of the stuff I do, this should be pretty familiar at this point. But display width, subtract the window width, and then divide that by 2 to get our center X. And then we'll do the same thing with the upper left Y. Once again, IntelliSense helping us out, which I love. So this will be the display height. Subtract the window, not minus, or equals, subtract window height. And divide that by 2. That'll give us our center Y. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to throw a note in here because we're going to have some global variables later on. So I'll say declare that'll be our variable section. We'll initialize some of them. So let's go ahead and basically we should open our window up at this point so we can look at it. And so that's going to be open dice roller, and we're going to use a window, no frame. So for window underscore NF as, and handle, we'll do DR, uppercase DR, dice roller. So that's our window handle, not declare. You guys remember I talked about this last night? We have hit space at the end of those. That way IntelliSense doesn't pick it up. We're going to trap the close. So we close the window. So DR, trap close, And then I think we should have a window event handler. Then we'll wait. That'll open the window, and then we're going to have basically all of our subroutines should go at the end of our file. So let's go ahead and actually, let's space this out. Let's do, I don't know, 150, I guess. I guess 125 would be fine. And so basically below this section, we'll say functions and subroutines as a note. And our first subroutine is going to be our window event handler. And we're going to pass in the handle. And then end sub. And then let's go ahead and say but handle. So this is a local variable to this subroutine, and this is going to use the function word. And I talked about this in a previous lesson, so this is how we're going to go ahead and actually look at what we're passing in. And basically we're going to look at handle. Well, I don't think we need to parse this actually, so I don't think we need to do that on this one. Let's go ahead and see. So basically we'll pass in the handle, and we'll have a select case, because we don't need to break down anything else out of that, so I don't. And then end select, and then the case, oh geez, case we should be looking for should be dr, so our dice roller. If that's the dice roller, we're gonna close hashtag dr and then end. So that's the end of our program. So if we did everything right, and like I said, if, let's go ahead and run this. Here's our dice roller, close it. Hey, it closes. Perfect. So we have our window event handler. So any window that we create, we can use this event handler to either close that window and look for it. So we don't have to have a bunch of branch labels scattered throughout the program. We just have a window event handler that looks for the window that you pass it through handle. And if it sees that it's that handle, we can tell it what to do. We can close it. Here we can close and end our program. We can close it and wait. So that way if our rest of our windows still need to keep running, we can do that. So that works very well. So I like it. I like how that came out. So the next thing that we'll go ahead and do is, this is version 3.0, and I'd like our window to have the version at the top of it. So let's go ahead and add our first variable. We're going to declare, let's declare it as a global. If I can spell global this evening, there we go. So global, and this is basically just going to be version. So version, we'll have it be a string. And then let's go ahead and declare what it is. Let's go ahead and initialize it. And so let's initialize version. And it's going to be the string. Let's just say this is 3.0.0.0. That's kind of standard for a lot of software. If you look it up, you have a major, a minor, for version numbers, and you can see which ones we change and what they mean. So if you have interest in that, just go ahead and check it out. Do a little research. It's pretty cool. But let's go ahead now that we have our version number, let's go ahead and add it to our dice roller. So basically we can add that right here. So plus version, and then I'll add what our version is. Now there's two ways to do this. So you can either say, okay, I need to remember that there's a space at the end here. That way there's a space in between 3.0. Or you need to do what I think is cleaner, which is have a space and add a space between the two. So dice roller plus space plus version. So now if we run this, we add that string together, dice roller 3.0.0.0. So I really like how that looks. So let's go ahead and add a few more things. I hate it when you hover over that button. So a couple things we're going to add really quick is we'll add some menu items. Now when we add the menu items later on down the road, we're going to actually hide the edit button. And I'll see if maybe we can do that tonight. We may not be able to because there's a lot of functions to it, so I want to talk about those as we pass all of that information in. So let's go ahead and just set up our menu, which we'll do it right below our initialized variable. So once again, I'll put in menu items. And so the first way to declare menu is use the word menu. Then we have to have the handle to our window. So DR, so we got to go ahead and declare this. And then we're going to have file. And then underneath this menu item, we're going to have exit. So basically this is basically nested within that. And then basically we also have to have what happens when we exit. And what's nice is if we exit, we can call our event handler. So we can call our window event handler. And that should pass in this handle right here, DR. So let's go ahead and look at this, and I'll save and run. So now we have our menu. So file, hit exit. So should be parameter, subname should be subname. Here. So this is where the event handler may not work. So let me just go ahead and look at this really quick. Because it calls a window event handler, and I bet it falls through there. So this is where we actually may have to use this branch label. Let me see. Just because we really are trying to get a function, so we'll call it dr.quit. Let's do uppercase Q just because camel case. So we'll add this here. And what I'll do is if there's a way to do it with an event handler, I'll figure that out between now. Like I said, I don't want these lessons to go way too long. So if we hit dr.quit, we're going to close our dice roller window, and we're going to end our program. So I'll save this, I'll run it. And now if I hit exit, it exits out. So we get rid of that error. I mean, I may not be able to use a event handler there, so I've got to go ahead and look at that. But I'll figure it out and see if I can have any more information. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and finish our menu items. So menu, DR, and we do have to have edit, and we're going to hide edit later on. So the next lesson right after this will be actually going in how to modify our menu items, because edit we don't need to show it. We're not going to use it. So, and it took me a little while to learn how to hide this. So I want to show you guys. It might be useful to you. And so here we'll have help. Because I didn't feel the need to have an edit in this window. And there's a lot of things I don't need an edit for. And so we'll do about. And now our about will actually go to, and like I said, until I learn if I can use the subroutines here, I am going to go ahead and dr.about. I'll do a branch label. And for right now, this is not going to go anywhere, so we're just going to say dr.about. And we're just going to wait, so it won't do anything. So now we're going to save and run. We have file, edit, save, find, replace, copy, paste. We're not going to need it. And then about, which doesn't do anything. So we're going to hide edit in our next lesson. I'll show you guys how to do that. But right now we have our framework. So this is our just small framework for what we're working with. I will look and see if I can create or use subroutines with menu items. I may not be able to, so this may have to be this, but having to use a couple is not a big deal. It's still going to be organized because I'm going to use these subroutines to handle everything, and that's going to keep our code nice and clean and compact. So this is the first lesson of building a dice roller. I hope to see you guys in the next one. If you liked the video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Leave me any feedback, comments. I'll answer you as soon as I can. Thanks, guys. See you in the next lesson.